call the meeting to order. It's 7:39. Connie is our note taker, our meeting minutes taker. She volunteered last meeting, I seem to recall.
That's true. I forgot all about that.
I saw your pen and the paper, and I thought, we're all set. Denise is sick this evening. She won't be here.
Oh.
I saw her earlier in the weekend, and she wasn't looking well. I didn't have much of a voice, so.
That's too bad.
So, okay. All right. Announcements. In case folks are curious, the Town Council approved the land purchase at Greater Woods, expanding that property to over 380 acres, which was a really good thing. So, it's a nice asset for the school behind it or beside it as well. So, a living classroom right outside their door.
Nice, very nice.
Some updates on the old Kings Highway project. What I'm referring to is what we spoke about in the past, where the Heritage Commission is looking to upgrade the section of Old Kings Highway near Horse Hill that actually traverses through Horse Hill. They have a plan, actually, that I've seen now that has 3 phases, and phase 1 is the section through Horse Hill Nature Preserve. And what we're trying to do is move forward with getting the road reclassified to a Class A trail. Ernie, Ruth Rule, and myself met with our new town manager, Keith, and discussed it and what the process is to go through that. And he's confirming, but we believe that it's something, an action the town council can do by their vote after a public hearing. So we're trying to get that all in place in the near term. And then in the longer term into next year is to get that phase 1 of their Heritage Commission project done. And it's just kind of a bonus for us. So that's where that's at. All the hunting signs have been removed from the property, those information signs. Did you help me out a little bit?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I apologize.
No, someone else did then.
Okay. Yeah, because I went out for mine, it was gone.
Yeah, I got yours. What I wanted to do was see some of them because I printed them with a different printer this year, and it looks like the color didn't hold up very well.
Yeah, they got kind of
So,
smudged.
Guess I'll have to make a note of that for next year. So.
Okay, so it wasn't me.
No, I got that one.
I thought, okay, where'd it go?
And someone took care of the kiosk. I actually asked Ernie to take care of it, and he drove over and then called me and said, "Hey, it's not there." But I also noticed when I
Lynn's
stopped
got
by,
a backyard full of them.
yeah, I noticed the lock on the kiosk had been changed, and Ernie told me it's now a common lock with some of the other conservation kiosks. So maybe when that got changed out, the sign got removed at the same time. I don't know. I looked for signs of the sign anywhere and didn't see it. So, but whatever.
Well, when I went to remove the one that's right on, behind the moose, I thought, well, it's a week early. I better wait until the actual 15th to do this. And I looked over, and I said, hunting season is really over, it seems. I haven't seen anybody hunting for a while. And then I looked over, and on the power lines, not 200 feet from me, were 2 deer looking at me.
They knew hunting season was over, too.
They were around our houses through hunting season. They're coming into the yards like they're not going to get us.
That's what they do.
here.
During hunting season, they cluster toward the houses because they won't protect us.
They were so close to our houses and our yards. It's like, okay, we're safe here.
Yeah.
They're not so.
Hunting season was essentially over.
Yeah, but lo and behold, when I was out on Friday, there were a number of hunters still on the side of the road catching their last day of archery season.
There were some
Of
on this
archery
past
season.
weekend.
Yeah,
Right.
archery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. Last meeting we discussed a thank you letter. That's still in process. It hasn't been mailed, and once I get it finalized, I will send it off to you. I actually have it. What I wanted to do was to get it on town letterhead, so it looked.
This is the thank you letter to the Mormon Church? Oh, good.
So Scott is a little bit behind because he's been overwhelmed with all the other community development projects, and so that he'd get to it this week. Get it printed out on letterhead, and then it'll go out. So. Also, I had asked Denise a while ago to do a contact list of all of us, so we all know how to reach each other. And I have a copy of it here. I slightly modified it from her version. I just added the date at the top, so that way we could track it. So, actually, Don't mind if I just give one to the two of you?
That's fine.
It's going to the same
Don't need,
place.
don't need any extra paper.
I had noticed that you have an email address, and we included that. Is that an okay
Yeah, we
thing?
do,
Yes.
sure.
So,
Of course, I don't read it every day.
that's,
I don't either.
so,
Oh, it's not goose, it's geese.
Oh, it's geese?
Geese. Change it to geese.
geez, okay. All right, I will,
I'll get on my computer and email
What
you right
what
away.
number are you on Natticook Road, Bob?
It's actually, that's
Got
actually
a lot of wild geese coming up on the.
all right, so everyone else take a quick look. We got everything else right?
One Hassel Road, actually. One Hassel Road for me. Instead of Natticook Road,
Looks
it's
good.
one Hassel Road.
Yeah.
Used to be
You
Natticook
can tell
Road.
Denise wasn't feeling well.
Well, it's listed, depending on where you look, it's listed as Natticook Road on one place and Hassel Road on another place. So it's Hassell.
ELL.
2 L's?
Yes, 2 S's and 2 L's, yeah.
All right, I
We
will,
spelled it with one.
I'll get it updated, and we'll send it out by email, and we'll make sure Connie gets a hard copy. So,
You don't have to, I just made my corrections here.
okay.
Okay.
Fine with it.
All right, that's pretty much what I have for announcements. Anyone have anything else they'd like to share? Right, next on our agenda is an update from the Conservation Commission.
At the last meeting, the only thing we talked about was the budget. We had to submit the budget. We put in $15,000 for a hostile nature preserve for next year. And that's still being, nothing has been approved yet, so it's still being reviewed by the town and town manager, but I don't expect there'll be any problem with that. But we've got that item in there.
Good. Oh, you know something? When we last spoke at the meeting, I was curious about having non-subcommittee members kind of help out with that budget subcommittee of our subcommittee. Do you think that's an issue, or? Okay. All right.
No.
Good.
No, so if we want to appoint
What was
some
that?
people for,
I'm trying to put together like a budget subcommittee
For here,
for
for
here.
this committee.
And I want to include some members on that aren't members of this subcommittee.
Okay.
That way we can spread the energy, hopefully,
Yeah.
and the wealth and the workload.
Yep.
So,
no problem with that.
okay, all right. Next comes kind of a working session. What I wanted to do was to discuss the trail map. I've been kind of going back and forth and around, and I'm not having a whole lot of luck trying to settle in on exactly something. So I'm going to have you all brainstorm with me a little bit. I didn't make enough copies of this. I'm kind of hoping you can all share it. I know Deb knows that map really well.
Oh, that's the old one.
That's the old one, all right?
Yeah, what's that
here,
still doing
I'm going to show
around?
you some history here. Here, I'm going to do the same thing with another old one that we've all seen before, but I figured if we wanted to refer to it, we could have it. I can actually give out another set of copies if we really want
I
to.
don't need to see
Yeah,
that
we
one.
It's gonna be the map lady, and we'll overlook
Do you
her
have the
shoulder.
one? It's a shame, because I had a beautiful set of maps, and I left them all home.
Here we come.
Here we come, huh? The
I went
proposed.
pretty
Hey, you
crazy.
guys
I
can
went
share that,
printing
and Bob and
crazy.
I'll share
Oh,
this.
good, thank
okay.
God. Somebody's got a brain
Something
tonight,
else.
because it isn't me.
Hold on to your hats.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
all right. So
There we go.
so we need 3 more going this way. There's one of each, one for each of you. Okay. So this is a trail,
Oh, I'm guilty too.
what I just sent out.
Oh, we have some.
Okay, there's a third one. We're gonna really
That's
confuse.
the one that we use to do the namings. Okay?
Yeah, I get it.
This is one that you've never seen before.
Oh, now you got 4.
Yeah, I told you, this is going to be a little working session. We're going to have fun with this.
Oh, here comes another one.
All right?
Oh,
All right.
I'm going to town.
what the?
Wild child there, Timothy.
Distracted you. I better put some of this stuff away.
Yeah, I know, right, exactly.
I'm really confused, Barbara.
Concept.
Here comes another one.
So now that I've inundated you with maps,
Oh, this is a pretty one.
okay,
the one from the
let me
plan.
kind of do a quick review.
Okay.
What you saw in the beginning was the hand-drawn one with the blue water areas is the original map that was put together.
Okay.
The one after that is one that we did for trails cleanup about a year or two later.
Yep.
After that comes the proposed map that we're working towards in a rough form that shows the trail names.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. After that comes something that I started tinkering with. When we got all the data from the NRPC, we got it in ArcView form, and there's a program called Arc Explorer that lets you see the layers and print the various layers, and you can change the color and you can change the dotted lines to dashes or solids and that sort of stuff, but you can't actually include new content. You have to pretty much work with the layers that you got. And it's a free viewer that you can just download and use on your computer. And what I started doing was trying to pull out some of the layers. Like you'll see that I pulled out a road layer.
Beautiful.
What I found is it didn't have the names of the roads, unlike let me just go one step further. The last thing I sent out is the base map. This is in that definitive plan, and what I was shooting for, in my own opinion, was something that got closer to this than anything else that we have, including a legend and all that. But what I wanted to do was to get from you folks an idea of what we really want, because lo and behold, I didn't realize that this was coming out. But this kind of tells you where we're at. What we're shooting for, I think, is something that is simple, that does the right job, and that's reproducible and copyable and all that. If you go to color, you kind of have to print color. So,
That's right.
So we want to keep that in mind. I don't want to stop that. If we really think color adds value, then color should be in a map. But I wanted to kind of get ideas.
But if these are going to be handouts, and I do think we need handouts at the kiosk, then, I mean, every time you try and make color, it's more expensive.
It is, absolutely.
I think the right thing to do is to, when we design it, it's nice to have it in color, and when they access it on the website, if they happen to have a color printer, well, good for them, and it'll look better. But we have to design it such that if it's printed out in black and white, it still looks perfectly fine,
Still
too,
looks good
because
as
a
well.
lot of people are going to have it in black and white.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do was to give you an idea that Arc Explorer lets us pull up some of the stuff. What I printed here was some of the roadways that are around it. You'll see some very coarse topographic lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
You'll see in the dark dotted lines is the current trail system as far as the NRPC had it. What you're going to see with the red lines is some of the proposed changes that we have been working on. Okay, so between the red and the black, we should be getting something similar to, but not quite, what we actually agreed, what we actually going to have for names. The downside I have is that with playing with this Arc Explorer is that I can produce the layers that we have, but if we need something that's different, we have to get someone to produce those layers for us. Or what I have to do is take a photo editing software after I've created a JPEG of this and kind of erase and kind of draw and erase and draw. And I started doing that electronically with my mouse and blowing it up so I could get some nice lines and all that. And then I said, okay, wait a minute. Before I go spending 4 or 5 hours doing something like this, I wanted to get concurrence that that's really where we wanted to go. And wanted to get your feedback as to what you wanted to see on a map. Looking at a full map here and some other versions of it. What other features we want to have. And then I can come back to our next meeting and say, okay, this is what I did based on that wish list of features. That sound okay?
Sure.
So
I love the slight topography, because as you know from the beginning, I like topo on a map, but everybody says it's too confusing, too many lines, nobody knows what that means. But what you've done here is nice, because it's just subtle, so if people don't care about topography, they don't have to look at it, but it's there for people who want to have a clue if they're going up a hill or not. I like to know what's coming, So I like
good.
that. I like the way this looks.
Right, and for example, on that Amherst handout that I gave people, like the brook path, you're going between like two brooks part of the time, so that it's going to be flat. So if you have kind of a bad ankle or something, you're not going to be knocking yourself out. You know that that's the trail to take. And as she said, some people are not familiar with the topography lines, but a lot of people are, though, and so that's their good tip-off that, you want to take something that's flatter, well, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I included just wetlands that were wet, real water bodies on here. Do we want to show another layer that shows the real wetlands that go beyond this? that
I
maybe
think-
aren't wet all year round?
No, I really don't think we want to show jurisdictional wetlands because it confuses people. But I would like to see the streams.
Stream,
The streams
okay.
are missing,
All right.
and I think they're significant. And the other thing is, before you put much energy into it, I think we might as well just get rid of the trails that we're getting rid of and just not show them.
Yep.
Which are
And
those
only
that are-
show the trails system that we're going to support.
Yeah. Only just the system that's here, right?
The system that's.
Named trail?
Yeah, the named
The named
trails
trail.
that we're going to support. And the others, we really need to block off in some fashion, and if people want to go explore.
Aren't we adding to the confusion there? We could call them abandoned trails or something like that, but if I see a trail there and it's not on my map, I'm lost.
Yeah, good point, good
Know what I'm
point.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe showing them in a light dash, perhaps, to say, and
Just
say
or
abandoned
or
trail.
closed or anything you want, but if I see a trail on my map
Yeah,
that shouldn't be there,
yeah,
then I'm confused, I'm lost.
yeah, okay.
the one-
Maybe a lighter dash,
The ones that, Harold said, the ones that we're just not gonna maintain those, right?
yeah.
So
We're going to
that-
block them off a little bit as best we can, but people will still see they're there.
Oh, yeah.
So eventually, if people aren't gonna use any of those, then they'll grow.
Yeah.
They will grow
through
in
yeah.
eventually,
But no, that's a good idea there.
yeah, temporarily.
However, there's one trail that is important that hasn't been done yet, and it is kind of important because right now, people with horses, they're going by Jim Taylor's house, and Bob Spurl, the guy from State Trails, at least that used to be his job, I think he's moved on, he said how that one should go in, and it only amounts to maybe 75 feet, so that they could come in, from what people refer to as Gothier Road. It's kind of by the power lines, to avoid that trail that he said we should abandon. And so I don't know what we should do about that.
Is your
'cause
point-
They're willing to create the trail so that horses could get on.
Well, then, then it could be on the map, but if we're not going to maintain it, maybe it should be in that light dash, so it's shown as a trail, but.
Right.
Or, if we can maintain it, that's great, but the problem with that is there's no official parking at the other end. We tried to say that we're only going to maintain town-maintained trails where people can park, not go through private land. So true, Gothier's not private land, but you know what I mean? We kind of intentionally
Yeah, but these
said
are
that
people who live there and their
Fine, they can
horses
come in.
are there.
They can come in,
Right.
but the problem is for the town to maintain that. It's a difficult area, it's steep.
Well,
It's
not
rocky.
not the alternate trail.
Yeah, but someone has to create that.
Right.
Right. If they're going to create that, well, then great, and they're going to maintain that, then
Okay.
good. But yeah, and then let's see what happens. If that happens, then let's make a determination on whether or not that should be part of the town trail system.
Okay.
But you're right. I think any trail that we're not maintaining should just be a lighter dash
Absolutely.
called unmaintained, abandoned trail or
It
something.
should be
or
there.
Private.
So that you know that there used to
Okay.
be a trail.
All right. So people know what it is. That's
And
fair.
probably sign it, abandoned trail or something.
Yeah, I think so. I think we should put something like that. That's a good idea. Or unmaintained trail or something.
Yeah, because there are a few, more than
Yeah,
a few.
yeah, and we'll have to see as time evolves. As time goes on, this trail system is going to evolve depending on how people use it.
That's
If
right.
those horse people become primary users of Horse Hill, guess what? That's going to become a primary trail.
So maybe we should say unmaintained. as opposed to abandoned,
Unmaintained, as opposed,
unmaintained,
yeah.
so.
That way we kind of say, hey, the town isn't taking care of this piece. But
If people want to keep walking it, it may
That's their
continue,
business.
to be a trail if
That's
people
right.
keep walking it. but it's just
Exactly. We
not-
don't know yet how people are going to use this thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, what I was hoping to do I didn't do it on here, is that we would, like the base map, maybe shift it in one direction or another so we had room to put information. Do we think a legend belongs better on a side or along a bottom? Or how do you want to do this?
Well, what size is it going to be?
Okay, good question. What do you think is appropriate? Because, if we make a big legend, we make a small map. I'm thinking our target is 8.5 by 11 because it's easily printed.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, we all concur with that idea,
Well-
8.5 by 11?
Well, I mean, if you use this as a standard for size, and they certainly put more in their details on the side than I would think we would need, and they fit a lot of details on there.
Yeah, that is small print.
It's tiny print. So if we put less information than what's here, but vaguely the same size, you know what I
It's
mean?
nice to get the roads around there that
Yeah.
gives some people an idea of where it is.
That is important.
Yeah, well, you won't need the inset then if we're gonna put the roads there, and that is important. So I don't care where it is, but I'm glad if it's gonna be on there.
Okay, yeah, we don't really, do you think the inset is important? This guy here?
That
Oh,
inset,
that
no, I was
inset.
referring to that inset that showed the roads around it.
Okay.
Can't read it very well.
Oh, you mean,
I don't know if
Yeah.
I think that's so important. I don't know.
So,
You can flop it somewhere if there's room after you do this thing, but I don't think it's critical. I think,
so because you're showing a ton of the roads around it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Read it.
yeah.
Can't read that anyway, it's so difficult.
Well, you're talking about this Amherst one. Amherst put this in there so they get somebody, that's what you're talking about, this thing here, right?
Right, so we wouldn't need it the way the
we don't
Amherst
need
Road
that,
one,
yeah.
it's, if we're gonna put the roads in
All the way
there.
around it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't need it.
I think this layout is fine.
okay.
I like this as a base map to work from.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we have to get rid of some, like, for example, the stands, nobody knows what that means unless you're a forester, you don't care.
Right.
Right,
So
The
that,
power lines are good.
yeah.
okay. No stand data, I didn't think that had value either. Do we think the stone walls are appropriate? 'Cause
Yes.
Do we think we don't really have all the stone walls, though?
We don't have all of them, and some that you have are, it's pretty tough to find. They make the stone walls look a lot more noticeable than they are. Like at the base of Blodgett, it shows this nice little rectangle. It's a little tough to find that bottom corner on that rectangle, you know? But, I mean, I think it's great. If we can do it, the stone walls are great.
Okay,
it's
so
a good
stone walls
reference.
are a wish?
They're a
Yes.
wish list item, yes. And I prefer the way they did the water, again, because it shows all of the streams coming. I love this map in general. Just get rid of the stand information.
Yeah, I found that I'm not sure I had all the layers to do this map. That was what I was shooting for, but what I can do is get a hold of Steve back at NRPC and say, hey, what layer does this? And if he says, oh, I didn't send that, he can
Did
send it to
Steve
me.
just use, well, the stuff that we originally got from Tim Posey? Because I still have that, and I have the software that does it.
Right, but that's CAD,
That's CAD.
Right, that's not in ArcView form. He pulled some of that and converted it to ArcView.
Can we go back and use,
Yeah, I have
And use CAD?
AutoCAD, yeah.
yeah, most people have, a lot of people have AutoCAD, and why don't we just stick with that?
Well, I don't recall the AutoCAD having all the pieces that we want, like the roads and that sort of stuff. Know what I'm saying?
I don't remember.
So,
Yeah.
let's just come up with the wish list and let me
Yeah.
kind of work through it.
I think the good thing about keeping with ArcView is they make changes. If you go into CAD, then everything that we want to add on to, we're going to have to redo everything. You're not going to be able to take it.
Right, because it turns out downstairs, they have ArcView.
Oh, okay, so the town has
Yes.
Town has ArcView.
Okay, oh, I was just trying to look for a standard tool that people could use, but if the town has ArcView, then sure,
Yeah.
use
That
that.
makes it easier
Okay.
for us to
Right.
keep
Right.
updating these things.
Okay.
and-
Right,
All
I've been
right.
trying to use Arc Explorer just because it was free.
Oh.
It was available to me. So if it comes to the point where Steve at NRPC says, Tim, you really have to use ArcView to get that detail, because you can't get it with the free viewer, then I'll take what I have and go downstairs with it and try and get some time on Walter's equipment.
Right, so,
How much does it cost for that program?
The Arc Explorer, that's free.
No, the ArcView.
ArcView is over $1,000 a seat.
yikes.
Yeah.
But we have a seat here at Town Hall, so we
Have
can
at
use
least
it.
one. I think we have two now.
Cool.
But in fact, we'll talk about budget a little bit later, but I put that in the wish list.
So it might be something we're
So,
going to use it to.
yeah, it's really is the standard. I mean, the Esri products, the ArcView, Arc Explorer are really the standard that's out there that everyone's using, so.
Okay, well, then we might as well know how to use it.
Yeah.
Okay, getting back to the legend, I don't want to leave that too long.
Okay, miscellaneous points,
What, you know-
trails, power lines.
Tell me what
build-
it is you'd like to see in the legend.
Well, I think if you took this, got rid of this data source block here and used that block for your trail names.
What data source block? What?
On the right-hand side, it says data sources. Below base map, see where it says base map on the
yeah,
top?
yeah.
That next block
Oh,
down.
data sources, I see. Property, yeah, right, there's nothing particularly useful. Yeah, that whole thing can go in your
Right.
trail names.
And then you could use that for your trail names.
Okay, now, if we're talking trail names, do we want the trails to have a different color and keep them bolded so that
We
they
can't
stand
use
out?
color because it's going to print in black and white.
Okay. Right. I mean, we can get shades of color through black and white, but you can't really get good color. So do you want me to adopt some sort of a dot dash type? Or you know, a dash dash or a dot dot or?
You're going to have to come up with 8 different legends.
Or also you could have like double line, one line, triple lines, continuous.
Just
That
don't
would be
want it to
some
look
other
too messy.
combinations.
You're going to have to play with this because it could get messy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could get messy quickly.
That's kind of why I was just wanting to get a little, in case someone had seen other maps, AKC maps or,
I have a collection. I don't have it with me, but as I've been going around in the last few years, whenever I'm anywhere, I bring their map. They take their brochures, and I have a collection of brochures. But
These designate
I don't have anything
the
else.
trails.
then,
Yeah, this is the horse trail. It goes from point 13 to 14. 14 to 15 might be the Appalachian Trail. That's how they've done it, because I wondered what they were, Tim. See, the Oak Trail is, where does it say? Post 21 to post 22. So that's the way, that's what those numbers are to designate the different trails. I don't know if you can do that.
Okay, so they came up 1, 2, 3. I got 5 of them out of it.
What are you looking
well,
at?
yeah, if we go by post numbers, then
Yeah.
we
They
can
came
pretty
out
much
with-
leave
okay, so they got like 5
the trails all the
Yeah.
same
Plus you
format
could do
then.
other things.
Well, they say, the
Post
one trail was
numbers?
21 to
Intersection
22.
points?
That's a post trail.
If you name your intersections,
Right.
Right.
call that a post?
From one post to the next.
Yeah.
For instance, maybe the Appalachian Trail is post 21 to 22.
Right.
Okay.
That's how they've done it. And then they've described each one in their booklet here, exactly what it is and how to go.
See?
That works.
See, like the 21 to 22, the Oak Trail heads northeast from the Bacon Trail at post 20 and goes into that, begin at post 21, tells you how to get there, what it passes. It passes boulders perched above the clean brook.
Okay, so we can basically do that. We can on the map. In other words, let me see if I understand. Let's say on the map there will be, like, for example, the number 1, and then over here would be the number 2, and here would be the number 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in this little side thing it would say 1 to 2, the blah trail,
Yeah.
and 2 to 3, 2 to 3, the other trail,
Right.
3 to 4 to 5 is. If we can do that with Big Loop Trail.
And this is really nice
It'll be a little
because
challenging,
they
but
pick
we
out
like you.
something on every trail
Yeah.
to
Well,
look for.
I think it's super to have that, but what I really want is
Yeah.
on the flip side of this, one page
Right.
with the definite,
I'm
the
thinking about,
quickie
if you're gonna
explanation.
do it that way, then put it on the backside.
Yeah,
Page is the explanation page.
right, and make it, it'd be really, are these ours to keep? May I
Yeah,
keep this?
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Because we could easily make this in a trifold format like this, so that you have, Horse Hill Trail System, yada, yada stuff. When they open it, it's the real map, but as they open it, they'll start to see this back that talks about the trails.
Gotcha. Right.
So, it's easy to make,
Yeah.
real easy to print, fold
Cheap.
up,
Yep.
The
cheap.
trifold idea works?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I want to point out at each of these posts, they had a post at this Joe English, and they had a map at each post, you know.
You are here.
Yeah, exactly. That's a lot more work, but at
So
any rate, that's what they did.
So out in the woods, not only were these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the map, actually, when you were in the woods, there would be a physical post that had number 2 on it, so you knew where you were.
And then you'd put a map in a case right there. It says,
Right.
and that you are here.
We
Yep.
could eventually get to that point.
Eventually.
I mean, you could start without it,
Eventually.
but eventually you could do it. We have that a lot of times with snowmobiles up north. You
Yeah.
come to a trail intersection, and it'll say, you are here.
Yeah.
Right.
That's precisely what it would say. They have a little X, you are here,
Right.
and would show a map.
Gives
we
you a
get-
reference point. Now you know where you're exactly where you're at.
Yeah,
Once we get the post set up and the names, and the next thing could be to work on that.
yeah, right, one step at a time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm hearing this and thinking, oh, boy, yeah, we're gonna ask for money for posts, so yeah, that's gonna
Post
go
idea
over
is good,
real
though.
well.
Because I remember that Deputy Chief Stavanger had asked that we put like mile
Yes,
markers out
yes,
on the
he
trail
did.
system.
Yes,
So
he
someone could say,
did.
I just went past mile marker 29 and I've fallen and I've hurt myself and I need assistance. You know?
You're right, those posts would
The
help
post would help that.
rescue missions.
So maybe when you're when you're talking to Ernie about these posts, when we get this, we could actually get some of these numbered.
It
Yeah.
certainly,
With a trail name on it, and a number 2 or a 3, whatever we come up with.
So the trail list, right, that we're giving to Ernie, we could sort of meld these together, since he's gonna be doing a trail sign anyway, why not stick a number on it?
Quarry Trail, but it's, that's, that'll be post 1, then there's a 1 on there. Another trail would
Yeah,
would be
you're
a name
right,
plus
we're
a
gonna be
number.
putting posts on for the
Right,
trail
posts.
signs anyway.
Right.
Of
We'll just
course.
number them.
Excellent, excellent.
what I want to say is, I think we can certainly justify this, because by having some of these posts that say, you are here, then it can save somebody from being lost and calling up on their cell phone and saying, I don't know where I am, you know?
Yeah.
Being out on a boat and you have a buoy and the buoy marker's 26, or you look on your chart and you see in 26, you know where you are.
Yeah,
Figure it out for
So
themselves.
if you get something, you got a trail name plus a number, then
you're set,
with a
you know
map,
where you
should-
are.
You should know where you are. If you know, I guess.
And even if you
not
don't have
biking
your
around.
map, if you've lost your map, if you can call in and you can tell the police, I don't know, but I'm at a post that says number 3 Quarry Trail,
Yeah, sure.
then the police would have the map and they'd know where to find them.
Right.
You know,
I broke my ankle and I'm
Right,
supposed to
yeah, I
post
don't-
number 2.
Or worse scenario is, I mean, even if they didn't get hurt, they could at least tell them, okay, follow that quarry trail, blah, blah, blah.
right, here's how to
And
get out, right.
Rather than,
You don't have a
if
map,
they-
you know,
Somebody's totally lost.
Right.
that's true. Somebody could walk them through it.
Right.
Yeah, good point, Newt.
That's good, and you're right, we are gonna have some work out there anyway,
Yeah.
might as well combine it. Excellent,
I'm getting somewhere here.
yeah,
Okay.
it's exciting.
What about other points of interest?
Well, I think that would be in the trail descriptions. I think rather than clutter the map, I would say as you read through the trail descriptions, if there's something worth seeing, they should. Don't you think?
What about the stone walls, though? We're going to leave them, right?
If we can, we like them.
I think, if we just did that, then again, at some point, we go back and may be able to put in a particular place a little something that has a little explanation on it. If there's a particular view or something of that nature, that's not just a way of enhancing it eventually.
Yeah.
But if we can just get the posts up and the numbers on their map.
And the description on the back.
And be on our way to.
Right, and it'll describe what's interesting.
Right.
To stop and look at White Pine Swamp is an interesting feature.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a
yeah.
unique feature with blah, 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 whatever, and
Okay.
and eventually maybe.
I think I might show the cellar hole on the map, though.
The what?
The cellar hole.
Really?
I mean, you're talking a dot.
A dot.
Yeah.
I guess we can spring for a dot.
I'll say, don't fall in it.
Yeah, it's actually got a fence
fenced
and,
now.
and it's got information around it. Yeah.
It's nice, yeah.
It's-
Ernie did that with the Brightside kids a
That
couple
would
years
be
ago.
part of the walking trail, wouldn't it?
You go right by it, yeah.
Actually, yeah, so, that'll just be,
Okay. I'm assuming the stone piles that are on the base map that kind of show the boundaries are not important?
Not
Not for this map.
not
Right.
important and real hard to find.
Right. Real hard to find. Got it. Yes.
Not for this purpose, Alice.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let me see what else I got here. So we're not thinking of actually putting the trail names in next to the trails, correct?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. I mean, you'll have to play around with it, but I don't think.
I don't
think it would
I don't
clutter
think, I think it'll be tough to make it work. I
Get
just
these
want
numbers, you'd be all set on that.
Yeah, but if there was a passion here, then I would try. If there's no passion for that, I'm not going to try. Okay, because there's a lot to do,
Wouldn't waste
all
your
right?
time.
That's right.
There's a lot
I think
to
we
do
are
here.
out of passion.
Are we, even if we have the numbers,
Yeah.
but also if this is going to be in color, we're going to put
Well-
put them in color if you do have a color printer. that can
Exactly.
Make it even easier.
Right, I'm going to try to,
Absolutely.
so that way when
Okay.
it prints, it'll try to look good.
Yeah.
But I also have to print it in black and white and make sure that I don't lose it. Like if I use a yellow, I might lose yellow in black and white. Okay?
One thing we might, as you're playing, play with making the loop trail one thickness all the way around, and all the other trails some other thickness.
Okay.
Only because it's going to be hard to say the loop trail goes from point 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7. I mean, it's 3 miles worth of loop,
That's true, yeah.
and everything else is just kind of small.
Right.
So if that one could be a thicker to say, this is the main trail, you know, this is where you want to be if you want to make a big circle. If that works, I don't know.
Okay. What about access points? We want to just show the parking lot and emphasize that. And the reason why I ask is we don't really, except for maybe the quarry trail coming in, we really don't have too many that really venture off.
Well, I think our concept, that was sort of intentional. We want people to park where they're supposed to park, go in from where they're supposed to go in, and not pester the neighbors.
Otherwise, if you put it there, I mean, someone's going to drive
That's
over
right.
there,
That's
park
right.
their car and walk in because it says,
Because
well, this would be a lot easier than driving way over here, so.
That's right.
So we probably should just put those couple of places and.
Yeah.
Can we possibly show how you can park at Wasserman Park and then go in the quarry trail and then cross over?
How about if we do that verbally when we discuss the quarry trail?
I think we're going to have to do it verbally. I'm not sure I got enough. If I start showing,
You don't mean verbally, you mean in the written part.
right.
On the backside, where we're talking about the quarry
As long as it's
trail.
somewhere.
Right, you can park it, and,
Because-
yeah, and that's how we'll talk about the quarry trail. It starts at Wasserman Park, it crosses the road.
Because
Because that
on
would
the
be
map,
another
it would be
parking
way off
place
down
for
here.
That's
people.
true.
It'd be down here.
Yeah, it's way
Yeah.
off the
Yeah.
map.
Yeah. But I'd like to stress that too, because a lot of people, would want to park there and then come in. It's a lot safer than parking on Natticook Road next to the quarry trail.
Okay.
I think we described, most people know where Westman Park.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true.
So Tim, you're just going to have the trail come off of the parking area, right? You're going to take these other trails off, the one that comes in off of Amherst?
Trails I'm going to show are the ones on here.
Yeah, okay, but,
And I will show the other ones, the unmaintained trails, but in a much de-emphasized, in a de-emphasized manner.
but I guess what I'm saying is the access point on Palmyra, are you going to take that out? And there's one down here that comes across Harold's property off of Amherst. Are they going to still be on the map?
Well, I'm thinking the one that comes up here, as soon as we leave Horse Hill property, I'm just going to end it and not show where it goes any further.
Yeah, because again, the local people know it.
Right.
But you don't want people from Reed's Ferry
Right.
trying to find that.
One thing that might be nice is if you do those unmaintained trails as perhaps little circles rather than dashes, really clearly shows this is different. Yes, you might see a trail here, but this is something different. And I don't think that'll look too messy.
Okay?
Because you're right. I mean, especially like the Palmieri Trail. I mean, we're not going to maintain that. We want to de-emphasize that. We don't want the
Yeah.
public using it.
Right.
But the neighbors are always going to use it.
Yeah, but the bottom line is, as long as it's there, people are going to come there.
Yeah.
And
But if
that's-
we make it in the round circles rather than the dashes, it's clearly not a real trail.
But
And so-
like you said, the neighbors will always know it's there, and the people who have used it will still come.
Right.
But it's not saying to somebody who just wants to discover it, oh, let's go here.
That's right. We don't want to encourage that. Okay. This sounds great. This sounds like real progress. This is going to be a nice map.
Yeah.
Right, we want the street names, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Right? And what else do I have on my list? I think we've pretty much covered it. Anyone else have any other ideas?
On the naming of these trails, I think that we should have something publicly done through the schools or however to open the names and people to suggest names for the various trails. The main reason for this is that people will go out and walk the trails and come up with a name or whatever, as opposed to our just sitting down and putting our own names or whatever on the trails. I think it should be a vote of the people or submission from the people that what the names should be, suggestions as to how they should be named. To get more people interested in it,
Well, what
before you
about
put a
just-
name
Well,
up
we had
there,
a
you don't wanna
problem
walk
with
it.
that.
What about if we have that, what if we leave one trail kind of open to suggestion? Pick a trail that's maybe not too defined, say.
Well, there's lots of things to be named. The problem with the trails, you want to address this, Tim, or?
Go ahead if you want. We
We really worked on this, because back when we were the master plan committee, that was one of the things we said we wanted to do. Community involvement, let the community name it, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And that was a great idea, and we all agreed. Problem is this.
Yeah.
We need to move forward with getting people out there, and we can't make maps until we have names.
Yeah.
And we can't get people out there till we have maps.
Yeah.
And it was a catch-22. So what we chose to do is we just have a few names. I think it's 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the map there. We
Yeah.
named some of the trails.
And what we decided was the community can get involved with naming things like the ponds,
Yeah.
the stands of this or that, the interesting, you know what I mean? There are other things people can name, but we needed names on the trails to make a map, to get people out there. And so, and we had to get permission from the council, so we went to the town council, we showed them a list of names, they approved the list of names so that we could go forward with the map.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't make a map without trail names, so
Well,
we
you
kind
could- You
of,
could name 1, 2, 3, and 4.
yeah, but we,
Yeah, no,
the decision,
This was an easier way of, I mean, start to talk to the town council about,
Yeah.
by the time we'd actually get that stuff in and it'd be sometime next summer if we were lucky.
Yeah.
But I think that at least this starts it off, and then, I mean, there's always an opportunity to change
Right.
trails and
You can-
rename them for people at some point.
absolutely. These are
Very
very
easy.
generic, simple names that, yes, if
And this was a
somebody.
way to get the town council to approve it, because they were very generic, they're not,
Okay.
Right.
not any particular individual that
I'll
will say.
withdraw my concern.
But
But I think it's a good idea.
a good point would be, perhaps in a few years,
Yeah.
we could, that could be a fun community event. Let's rename the Horse Hill Trails to make them pertinent to something.
We could pick one and see how it works. Let's rename the Rocky Trail. We named, by the way, the Rocky Trail, the one coming off Blodgett, that's all washed out and it's all rocks right now.
Yeah.
And let's rename it because we've upgraded. It's no longer really rocky and it doesn't fit. And we could keep the old name in parentheses like next to it, so people who knew it as the Rocky Trail would know it. But now it could be the Summit Trail or anything else, you know.
Right. So in the future, that's true. Or as we develop new trails, we're going to eventually find some trails that eroded more than we thought they would and have to be closed off and rerouted. Well, that would be a nice time to rename it.
Right. But first, we got to get them out there.
Get them
safely.
out there. Get them out there in a way that they know where they are.
I think that's a good project for the future.
Yeah.
Well,
we-
and there
we
could
covered
be
this
areas,
in the meetings
observation
before
areas
you
that
came
can be-
along. You came on board again.
Yeah.
That's all. Sorry we didn't include you, but we just didn't have you.
Okay.
Okay, any other concerns when it comes to the trail map? So,
Looking good.
well, I appreciate the input, because I really was going around in circles and kind of got frustrated working with the tools and then trying to figure out what to include for content. And I finally, about a week ago, said, that's it, I'm just going to bring it all to the meeting and let you all help me decide. So now I can just be the,
Didn't even take long.
all right. What's next? Okay, so let's move on to the next item, and that is to talk about trail work we want to do over the winter. Do you want to, I know you were working on.
I was working up there only because it's easier to point to something than for each of us to be saying, which trail is she meeting? No.
Do you need some help hauling that out?
I don't know. Can y'all see it or?
No.
No.
Let's see. First of all,
Is that really heavy?
well, I was hoping, yeah, this does, this
Kinda
comes
awkward.
off, so I can do that.
So can we set up a couple of chairs and maybe? You want to-
I can stand here and hold it with you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I just need to try. Okay.
Let me grab my notes.
Yeah, I
Come
can't
around.
see either.
I'm gonna come around.
Yeah, if you come just a little bit, you'll be able to.
All right.
Suck it in, Newt.
Hey, listen, 5 years ago, I'd had to really suck it up.
Parking lot. We have, the Conservation Commission is having someone before the end of the year, as I understand it. This trail will be done like this, coming out, going up. As far as here, this trail is going to be done for us by a professional. So we don't have to worry about that. That's going to be done soon. We've already had the Church of Latter-day Saints come and do that day. We went up, across, and down. So this is done. The Blodgett Loop is done. This area here is in good shape, needs some minor little tweaking around a little bit of a wet area right there, is done. This bypass, remember the trail used to come down here, but it's extremely wet down here and it was always going to be a horror show to maintain. We made a decision, we were going to bypass the horror show and have a new trail coming over this way. This is roughed in. I will not call this done. It needs someone to go back out there with a saw to get the things that were bigger than clippers could handle. But it is really easy to find. It's roughed in well enough that anybody could follow this now. So I think we are at the point now where, so if someone's taking a note of items that we need to do, I'm about to say the first one, we need to block off this trail. We no longer need it.
What do we want to call that?
Item number 1, block off old Amherst Road trail that goes to the power lines.
Okay.
How about if I just put a 1 on it? Eh? Item number 1, block off that trail. Item number 2, we need to improve this trail. As I said, I only roughed it in. It needs somebody to get out there with a saw and a couple hours work. This is fine because this is the existing trail, so that's fine. This is fine. Here we have, of course, item number 3 that we've always known was going to be our, oh, gosh darn it. Item number 3, very important big one, bridge over the end of Long Pond. We do have an Eagle Scout looking at it, considering doing this. It's going to be a pricey thing. So I don't know if he's going to be able, he wants to do it, but he's going to have to raise some funds because I didn't know that we have, I told him he can try. He can come to you guys and see if he can, you know, scratch some money out of you, but if he can't, I don't know if he's going to do this one because it's a big bridge. It's a long bridge.
We also have a donation from a fellow in Amherst for a bridge,
Yes, and that's another great place.
which might be a good place to put it.
Exactly. So if he doesn't do this, there's lots of other places he can do. So that's item number 3 that needs to be done. Coming out here, it's okay. This needs a little bit of work. So here's a small area of work coming back up this way. This would help me if I had my map.
Would this be a good time for me to show where the suggested trail was for horse people?
Well, that's their work. We're not going to do that, but yeah, it's the one they've talked about before. They want to come in and kind of go around.
Yeah, stop before you get to
Well,
the
like
3. Yeah, before you get to the,
Right.
way before the 3. Go in,
Yeah, they just want to bypass this and do
there you
that.
go. Yeah.
What was that?
The horse people want to
Oh,
do
the horse,
this.
oh,
but it's very steep, it's very rocky.
No, well, you kind of bypass, yeah, you bypass that rocky
Right.
trail. So that's
It's a
precisely.
whole new piece of trail that we said, since there's no public parking out here, we couldn't justify putting town energy into that when there's no public parking. It's going to be
Right, but they
used
don't
by
need
the
public
local-
parking because the horses are already there.
And we weren't going to do the work for their private enjoyment. If they want to do the work, they can sure
It's
do
like a
it.
local trail.
It's a local
Right,
trail.
exactly, a local
Just like the
trail.
Palmieri
Which is
Trail.
fine, yep.
Yeah,
Now,
but
you know,
I would
it's local
suggest if you
people.
speak to them, that they put a kind of an idea, plan together, and give me a ring, and come in and spend 20 minutes with us, and talk
Okay.
about what they want to do,
Okay.
all right?
Okay, so I guess I'd call this a little 4. This 4 is that, you know, going from the end of Long Pond up to there, it's in pretty good shape, actually. It's hardly, don't call it 4. It's really in pretty good shape. Okay. Proceeding on, let's stick with the main trail first, which is the loop trail, which goes like this, around. All right, here's a place that needs major work, or we can just not do this piece for this year. I think we won't do this piece for this year because it's kind of major. Right now, we have people coming down along the power lines, and we have to build some kind of it's wet, you know, right through there. We have them doing this, and then cutting up. I'm really off kilter here.
Yeah, most people kind of like tiptoe around. People have put some rocks down.
Yeah. It would be very nice to do something like that. This is really off scale. Really out of scale.
Yeah, I mean, it is on our map, so.
Yeah, it is. That red thing there, that is the approved, what we talked to town council about. We approved it, and there's that little red thing. We put it there, and that's correct, but it's a lot of work. That is, you know, that's why I'm saying let's not do that piece this year. It's just going to be a lot of work.
Right. By the way, the goal of this agenda item is to talk about what activities are to be done, and then for us to kind of decide what we think is really something we want to bite off over the next few months.
Okay, well then I will number it. I'll number
So
it.
it's good to have it, so we don't lose it, but
All right,
we may
I'll remove
decide
it.
we're not going to do 4. Okay?
I will also number this 5, because one way or the other, people are still going to use this as a trail, even if they have a bypass, and we need for them to be able to get across that water. So crossing that water is number 5. Believe it or not, that's a 5. All right, here's the, along here, there's tiny bits of work to be done, not much. The next big section of work is from here to here. This new section, this has been marked, approved by the Conservation Commission, walked by the Conservation Commission, and approved from here to here. To me, this is the most critical thing we have to do, because this is the connector. Without this, we don't have a loop.
Don't have a loop, right.
It's marked and it's approved. It's not even roughed in, though. I've only clipped enough to walk myself through. It's not even roughed in. So I'll call this 6, and it is definitely where I would put our next energies. Then, let's see, I'm really out of kilter here. I'm really off kilter here. Because in fact, yeah, I'm just badly out of whack. I'm gonna go like that. You know, that's all right. That's not bad. That's not
No,
bad.
that's fine.
This whole thing is the loop trail. So once we have right here on the approved trails, when we said we were going to bypass this water like this. We're going to create a little bypass. When I walked this with, was it Andy Powell? I know it was
Bill Straight?
Phil Strait. Yeah, Phil Strait.
Bill Straight, yeah.
I know it was Phil, and I think it was Andy with this.
Right, it was, yeah.
When we came out this way, they suggested, and I agreed with them after thinking about it, rather than do this, which is a lot of work, and there's a lot of water out here, it was going to end up being quite a loop. Just do some maintenance through here. Just fix up the water problem. Just fix your problem. Don't create a new trail just to go around the problem. Just fix the problem. So it's going to be some fairly, I'll call this number 7, although I'm sure there's lots of other things. But
That's almost tractor work to fix, though.
yeah, it's maybe. We can suck Phil into this. For some reason, Phil was kind of fond of the idea of doing this work. So I think if we reeled him in like a fish, we could get him. Come on, Phil. I think we could get him to work on that. So that's good. Needless to say, there are little bits and pieces of whatnots to be done. Of course, like there's this trail that the mountain bikers want to put in, but we're not going to pay a lot of attention to that right yet. So there's work to be done on this one that connects to the mountain bikers trail. I suppose I should leave it on there, but there's work to be done in here. But I think the mountain bikers are going to do this whole piece. That's my impression. Okay, that's all I have to say. So those are the 7 items I would call, off the top of my head, the most important things.
And can I say that it's safe to say we're going to try number 8 to be the large metal?
If we get snow, we'll get it out.
The large what?
Oh, take out the large metal.
Oh, yeah, stop. Okay. Will this stay so we can talk about these items, or? Actually, you know what? Why don't I just not be lazy and do this? I just like to see you stand in front of the room. That's all. There you go.
Okay, what are the stop signs for and the do not pass signs?
Crash.
Do not pass, go. Do not collect $100.
That's what I'm wondering. Okay, you got to stop here. We're not going any further until we do project 1 and 2.
Crash site
Right.
somewhere.
That's at the end of the parking
I
lot.
apologize for not putting that on a piece of paper and bringing it. I picked up the wrong folder. That's all I can say. I'm sorry.
Excuses.
I'm a lazy thing, I am.
This time of the year, everybody's allowed to have
Basket
excuses.
case. I got a basket case.
At least you didn't swamp us with paper like I just did a little while ago.
Yeah.
At least you came prepared. I came completely unprepared.
All right.
And I apologize. But
So we have 7 and an 8th item as long as there's snow. So what do we think is really doable? Now, you were saying number 6 is priority 1, you think?
in my opinion, I would say, I started out writing pretty small. Numbers 1 and 2 will be really an easy afternoon, so we can bang them out. 1 and 2 is blocking off one trail and doing a little bit of cutting on that other one to do that. We could quickly bang it out. But yes, I'd say other than that, number 6 is, I would say, the most important item to do. Now that we're getting into frozen weather, the wet water stuff can wait a little bit, not as critical. Yeah.
My new snowshoes came today.
Yeah.
Oh, we need snow now.
I know. But 6 will be fun.
gonna get it.
It's a long, it's a long trail, but it'll be fun. It'll just be nice to see that develop. I think everybody, and we have quite a large group of people who are on an email list of mine who say that they would like to help. And occasionally they had, over the course of the fall, I did a few Sunday work days, and several guys came and helped, which was nice. But there's even more on the list who will help. So I think we could put together a pretty good-sized work crew.
Okay, so should we say that 3, the bridge, is really a planning activity for the winter?
Yeah, that's
Trying
out
to
of
see
our
what we
league
can-
for now.
The 3, yeah.
Do you have any idea from the scout whether he's gonna, whether you have any timeline as to when there'll be a decision made as to what, if 3's a go or no go?
I should give him a call. because I haven't heard from him in several weeks now. Last I heard from him, he was still aiming for it, but he wanted to talk to, he's gathering bridge designs and thinking through the money stuff. But I should give him a call.
So tell him if it's funsies, if that's the problem, if that's the, really the major problem, he should call us about
Yeah, that probably is the major problem. I think he understands what he wants to do, but it's paying for it is going to be, I don't know. I'm speaking out of turn here. I don't know.
How long is the bridge?
Pardon?
How long will the bridge have to be?
Oh, I've forgotten. We measured. I went out there with the scout and his father, and we measured things. And is it?
Well, how long was that
16
plank?
foot? The plank was only 12 foot.
Okay.
I think it's 16 foot. I think is going to be. The problem with that bridge is that that's the only one really that we have to build that has to hold horses. Because the horses don't go through that swamp. It's too mucky and deep. All the other water crossings we have, really, the horses can just walk through the water. So the bridge only has to handle, basically, humans. But that one has to be strong enough to handle horses, and that's what makes it pricey.
Okay. Well, I agree with you that without 6, we have no loop.
Yeah, without 6, there's no loop. Right.
So I think it'd be great if we could, by early April, having 6 cut through. It'd be nice without the foliage to get it done.
Let's make that January. I mean, there's no reason we can't do that in a couple sessions if we get a good enough crew. If we pick a date far enough in advance that I can tell the email list folks, save this date. This is 3 weeks notice. Please, this is when we finally need you.
It'd be nice if we had snow to be able to get a few snowmobiles to help curry people in and out. Because that has access issues. If you can get people in and out of there, you can
Is that the
get
one you
people
got
to work.
lost on and turned around?
Is that the one? I don't know. I've been lost a few times out there.
The best access point is
Oh,
not
yeah, I remember when you're talking about, yes,
Call
yes,
Mary.
that is
over
the,
his driveway.
yeah, poor Harold. I
We don't
used
wanna
his
do that
driveway
either.
a lot over
We
the
don't want
fall.
to do that, but yeah, if we could pick it up at Palmyra from one end and come in off of your entrance near Riverside at the other end.
We need good snow. I
Right.
venture to say we would need 2 feet of snow to be able to get up that hill.
Okay,
I mean, the erosion is that bad in there.
okay.
We can just walk in. I mean, most of these folks who want to come do this are hikers. That's why they do it. They're people who are pretty fit and they enjoy walking, and it's a fun walk, all right? So you spend a half hour walking to get to where you need to do the work, and then you stay out there where you need to do the work for three hours, just
But it'd be
stay and
nice
do
if
it.
we could bring equipment in with the snowmobiles and
It would be.
food or drink or whatever, so they can have drinks and stuff. I'm not thinking that kind either.
Oh,
That you carry on the hip.
That's the only thing keeps you warm.
I know it.
Mention to you that you all feel free to use my driveway, park in there, anything you want. My land is open to you, so.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I have lights, my driveway is lighted, but the lights are on the east side. I got red lights there, and you'll see them when you go in, but just don't run over the lights. They're up this high off the ground. But park anywhere you want, and just,
Yeah. Well, if we do,
that opens up a whole section of it to you.
Yeah.
And you can park as many cars as you want there.
right, if we do a planned event, we'll let you know way ahead of time that we're coming.
I'm sorry?
If we're gonna plan a day,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
few weeks or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
let you know way in advance
Yeah,
that
yeah,
we're coming.
yeah.
That way, if you're having a family day that day, we can kind of work around it or whatever.
Yep, yep.
Great. Yeah, that is the easiest way to get to that section is through your
Yep, yep,
property.
yep,
Yeah.
Well, it would be quite a walk to walk in there,
It is.
without a
It's-
driveway. So
it
just
is.
park
It's a
anywhere
long
you want.
Well, one clarification, who knows how the winter's going to go? We don't know if we'll, get 2 feet of snow, so we need to be able to plan accordingly in the event that we don't get the snow for this activity.
How about it?
Wait, hike?
We don't need the snow for this activity.
Right.
The snow is actually a hindrance in some ways, but
Right.
it's a
But
helper.
to remove the stuff he wants,
For his
Yeah.
New
items.
stuff, yes, we
Yeah,
need the
new
snow,
We
absolutely.
do need the snow for that.
Shall we just pick a date? Can we just say? Or a weekend, or something like that? The third Sunday in January.
We haven't,
Isn't that Martin Luther King's?
yeah,
Weekend.
that's something we need to discuss a little bit
Oh.
later.
Well, all right, I was just hoping we could pick a date, and then I could tell
Well, what I
everybody.
was
People
thinking-
could rest up on Monday then, see if they,
We'll be right here on that Monday. Schedule, so. I was thinking is maybe the following weekend, so we can have one more meeting here before we go out and do it.
Really? Okay, it's the fourth Sunday in January? Because we are going to start these walks, right?
Yes.
First walk's the 7th of January.
Well, that's okay, because we can walk it just following the ribbons,
Right. We
and it
can
might get people enthused to come out and help us cut it down.
cut it, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, we need to get those permission things for people's
We
side.
need to have those as a permanent thing. Someone really needs to make that happen, because
Yeah.
I could be having people come like kind of every Sunday, to help a little bit, but they need to be able to sign something that's just generic, that's,
Sign that waiver, yeah.
yeah, that isn't tied to a particular date like the last one was.
Yeah, I kind of dropped that when our town managers changed a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll pick that back up again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they need to be printed or written up or what, Tim?
Well, we need to really have, the town doesn't have one. The town
Okay.
put one together for that, but the attorney wants to, I don't know what they've done with it, so we need to, but they're working on something that would be generic for
Yeah.
any events that the
Okay.
town has.
Yeah.
It'd be just a,
You said the magic word, the attorney's working on
well,
it.
that's always a
Yeah, I
problem.
know.
But they're pretty, I mean, we're not the only town that has these things.
Exactly. I can't believe that we can't get
Not
that
that
from
difficult.
Concord, a standard generic volunteer waiver form that says, I, the undersigned, am doing work for this town, and that's, I exempt everybody from liability.
Call that Sherry lady. She does it. She does all kinds of this trail work over there in Holliston. I bet you she might have something.
Okay.
Right, that's what I was going to say, because they've got like neighbors that go out there all the time, so they must have something.
Okay.
I ran across them one time out there on Beaver Brook Place.
So are we in agreement that we think number 6 is something that we really want to get done?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we're going to shoot into January.
Yeah.
If it takes time in February, we'll go back again until we get it done?
Yep.
All right.
And we're kind of in agreement that we're going to let 4 kind of drift for this year.
I think we have to.
And we're just going to walk up the power lines for this year, which is what people have always done. So we're not making it any worse than it ever was, but it'll be much nicer when we can bypass that.
Yeah, it's pretty wide now. A lot of water running through there now.
Yeah, I
I know.
It's not
know.
deep, but it's wide.
It is wide.
Beavers have been having fun. Plus, we had a wet time. So I know my pond is high. So I don't have anywhere near ponds like you, but
Good, we have a mission, we have a goal. We can.
You know, it's 3 strokes in the canoe and then 3 strokes back and 3 strokes forward.
you've seen my pond before I lived there,
you've seen
right?
the pond
Yes.
in the front. It's not always there, though.
It is though.
Now
Oh,
it
I've seen it dry before, I think.
is. Well,
Yeah.
not since they've built the house.
Oh,
It's a pond, it's a real pond.
Is it stocked with fish?
London is probably-
Yeah, right. He doesn't want to tell that in front of the. That's his secret.
That's my secret.
Well, this is good. This is exciting. This is exciting. January is going to be a big month for Horse Hill.
Okay, good. Kind of needed that little vigor, you know?
I know, me too. I've lacked vigor these
According
last
to
couple of months.
the walks, I put in the paper that they would be every month.
Yep.
Okay.
We will do that.
Okay. Well, let's move this along then. Let's get back to the kiosk.
Okay.
Last time we met, we kind of went over the rules in the information page. We agreed that the information page was okay, but I was asked to kind of redo the rules. I think I've made copies for everybody. Well, I can send a couple this way. I know I emailed this out.
Yeah, I was able to download mine. I gave her one.
Yeah, I have one.
Right, so.
Do you have one, Deborah?
This is revised.
Yeah,
Do you need another copy?
No, we're all set over here.
Put those two over there.
Great, good.
Where is mine?
So,
There it is.
I didn't write up in a note all the things we changed, I just put them on my copy.
Some of these have changed.
But, essentially what I did is I reversed the order mostly. That was something that you wanted to do, because I started right off with no ATVs, motorbikes and all that. And that's now at the bottom.
Do no litter. Picked up a typo right away. Do no litter.
Okay,
Sorry.
good thing. Do no litter.
Do no litter.
Yeah, this is a sign that,
Okay.
that the MCC uses.
Right, now we have a number of these on the property already.
Those are the RSAs that just, the only ones we have to, anything if we mention the,
This is actually a little different. It's been updated.
yes, yeah.
Can I keep this?
Yes, you may.
Oh, excellent.
In fact, you can have, these are, these are the other two we use, so you can have those if you want.
A few of these missing on 80 acres now.
I know it.
Found them on the ground.
Is that right?
I think the trees have actually pushed them out.
Could be, yeah, because that's
Nails
always,
get
that's
too
always,
strong.
yeah.
Here's the old one there.
Trees grow around them and then break them off.
Those RSAs, those are just we need for the, as I was talking, if you're talking about the vehicles,
Yeah, okay.
that's the only RSAs that we need.
This is nice. I like the way this turned out. It's positive, it's upbeat. It reminds people sort of the type of place they're going to be, animals, plant life, right off the bat.
No, I thought it was a little strong with the pets thing, but I think it's a good idea.
Oh, no.
That's a good idea.
No, I think that's important.
Okay?
I'd like to share a few things. Let's see, where do I start here? Granted, each place is individual, but some of the things that were on the kiosk at the Joe English reservation that I just think we might want to consider, and that's the hunter hiker. They had like a little notice, and it's also at the Amherst Town Forest, and we have kind of a similar thing, which is hunters and hikers share these woods, during hunting season. They list the hunting seasons, but we're kind of stressing the deer season. But as a neighbor down my end, I can tell you that, I hear gunshots at different times, and even though it's not deer hunting season, there were shots last Saturday morning, and also sometimes at night. And so I don't know, in terms of addressing that, I can say that it's a concern of the neighbors. And one thing that they had over at the Peabody place, Joe English, was they had hunter and hiker safety tips, and you had some of them in that thing that we took down. But that's something that could be put up on the kiosk at some point, so it would be separate from this. And they also had like separately, no fires, no alcohol. We haven't mentioned alcohol, and I know we
not a
want to
rule.
be positive. So some of the neighbors did mention, what about alcohol out there? And they also mentioned, what about night times? And so I just like to have a little discussion on some of that. And like, we've got respect to animals and plant life on the property, but I don't know, it does seem like, for example, over at Ponema Bog, they have, it says, do not collect any plant or animal species. And, I mean, we certainly don't want them to try and collect some of the turtles or anything else, I almost feel like we need to be a little more specific.
Well, if we're going to if we're going to do what you're talking about doing, what we need to do is have a separate agenda item to talk about other rules for the property, because right now, all I've done is outlined what we've already established.
I know.
Because we don't have a rule for times. In fact, it's wide open. We have no rule against alcohol.
I know.
And we haven't discussed rules about plant life and all that. And we would, as a committee, would have to come together on that.
I know.
And then move it up and get approval further up, because we don't set those rules.
That's right. We have no authority to
Right.
say that you,
Right.
even to say something like you can't collect, plant and animal species. It's their property. They bought it with their tax dollars. If they want to go out there and pick up a frog, that's their business. I mean, we don't have the right. I'm not saying it's a good idea.
Or an endangered turtle.
Well, yeah, we don't have that right. That would have to go all the way up, beyond the Conservation Commission. It would have to go to the town council. If they want to pass a rule that people can't take a leaf or a mushroom or anything home. I mean, saying endangered turtle, that's taking it to the extreme. I mean, first of all, we don't know that there are any endangered necessarily. But
Yeah, we do. We've seen them.
Oh, let's not go there, Lynn. I'm too tired to fight. All I'm saying is we can't make up rules. We can't do that. It's town property. They have the right to do things.
But I would suggest that possibly we take a whole night and have a discussion one
Yeah,
way or
can we-
another and decide if we want to take
wanna
it to the
push
town
something
or
or
we
not.
don't.
Right, go ahead. I mean,
You know,
all I'm
I'm-
saying is we can have a
Right,
discussion, but
it's gonna be-
understand,
oh,
it's
yeah.
not up to us.
No, and I understand that, but we could make recommendations that we feel that these are things, and then they'll do it or reject it.
Yeah.
But also, does Conservation Commission, do they have certain things that they, support on a piece of property like this? Would your commission want to also come up with some ideas and we just bring them all together? But I think it needs to be discussed.
Right now, it's basically that on conservation land, it's just whatever the current either town and/or state statutes are about
Right.
these kind of things. There aren't any other rules beyond that.
Right.
So endangered species are covered.
Right, but that's an extreme.
Right.
Mostly it's things like mushrooms. If someone wants to go mushroom picking,
But
You know,
we have to be
it
careful
happens,
about. But,
you know?
but that's something to talk about.
Lady
but right,
slippers.
But right now, there's
they're endangered. That's a difference. There are rules.
But there's also RSAs about picking those too.
That's right.
Right,
There are
exactly.
rules about
Right.
those already.
so currently
How many
anything
people
that's-
know that?
Right, wait a minute, stop. We're having a meeting. We should have this as an agenda item. for
Okay.
the
I
following meeting.
I
definitely
really,
feel,
really
yeah.
think we need
So-
to discuss it.
So, do we want to do that next meeting, or do we want to push that into February's meeting?
We need to be able to really have a lot of time. Why don't we do it to February? We want to work on the trails now, give us some chance to think about it. I'm just thinking of the partying again. The kids can go out there. Maybe we want to make a few rules.
But I mean, in the meantime, we can look around and see what other
Right.
places post and as I know what
That's what I've been doing.
we do here.
Can you start collating that into electronic form?
Oh, all right, if I must. I'd be happy to. Because
Somewhere
I
that-
just feel like we need to be
Either-
kind of specific.
Either that or a hard copy that we can distribute,
I'd be happy to.
right?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Right, Harold?
I think we're talking about mushrooms and frogs and all those things, but I think fire is the biggest problem.
Yeah, that was another thing some neighbors mentioned.
Yeah.
And I think there has to be controls, there
Besides
has to be areas or times or something. And if we have an exceptionally dry fall, then we gotta be able to say off limits, no fires at all, period.
Currently,
Because of fire dangers, that's a big thing that I see.
currently, again, the town requirement is that you need a permit on any town land to have a fire, so.
That's right.
Whatever, yeah.
I think one of the things we can look at is that, what I will do is I'll go and get the rules and regulations that we already have for the town. The problem is that you have to, you can't, so, I don't know if you're going to be able to post all these things, but at least we should know where they are, where people can, find these things. But there are, but I know that in terms of, there is no, on the town property, do need a permit for, just can't go start a fire.
Even on private property, under the fire
That's right, you need to get
You
a
have to have a
permit.
permit to kindle a
You
fire.
can't just start a fire.
Private
even
property,
though-
you're supposed to have permission to even go on private property, but that doesn't.
No, but what I'm saying is if
Yeah,
you want to
build a
kindle a
home.
fire at
Yes,
in
right.
your backyard, you still have to get a permit there
That's
too.
right, yeah.
If you want to burn brush
In the
yard, you can.
definitive plan, we had come up with some possibilities like no camping, things like that, and they're the things that really have not been addressed
Right.
in any way, shape, or form, and we knew we would have, this committee would have to address them at some time. So, just for discussion.
And the other thing that I do want to mention right now is that in Greg's letter, I didn't have enough copies for everybody, but his concern about the trying to make hunters aware of how close they are to some of the neighbors. A bunch of neighbors feel that way, as you, I'm sure doesn't surprise you one bit. And so what one person who's a neighbor said was, would it be possible to even have some kind of a tag somewhere that says you are, 300 feet from the house, or, something like that.
As we have told them over and over, if they would just participate, that yes, the hunters themselves are willing to supply those, the hunting community has signs that say things about danger zones or safety zones. I think they're called safety zone signs. They're even willing to come and put them up for us. I mean, if they want to cooperate and
Yeah, they
instead of
do.
just sit around and whine about it, then show up and sure, we'd
Oh,
be
they'll
happy
do it.
to it.
They'll do it.
I'm sorry. I know I'm being a little frustrated right now. I apologize. That was rude of me. But really, I mean, we've been over this territory
I know,
so
I
many
know.
times with these people. You know, yes, we can post signs. you know.
Okay. Well,
We
let's,
can also oversign. We have to think of what's important too, and I think that's why we need the discussion. We can have a sign for everything that people are afraid to even go on the property, which I'm with you. I don't want that either. So I think we need to hit priorities.
Jim, I'd like to move this meeting on, and if we're gonna have an agenda item on it, let's do an agenda item. Drop it at this
Right.
point for tonight.
Okay, so getting back to my rules update, how are we with this? My intent is this, is to add the RSAs at the bottom, clean up the typo, take care of any other corrections we want to do tonight, and then I'm going to pass this to Bob and pass this up the chain, along with the information page, and say, here, this is what we want to put on the 2 panels of the kiosk, get Conservation Commission approval, and then turn on the printer and let the Kinkos or whoever that Ernie uses or we decide to use generate it. Because I'd like to get the content out there in the next few weeks.
I think we need to get something in there. We can
Yeah.
always go back and change it at a
Right.
later date if we
Right.
want to, but we need to get something out there.
yeah, I realize that, and I was going to mention that we can revisit these rules, and there's nothing stopping that. But I do think we need to have a serious discussion,
Yeah.
more specifics.
I have to agree with Deborah. I think it's very positive. I really do. I think you've done an excellent job, Tim. I mean, nobody will take offense to any of this. And I
Well.
think that's good PR.
Okay, be good? All right, I will clean it up and you'll have a
Okay.
copy in your mailbox.
Okay, great.
Good. All right. Next agenda item, budget activity. As Bob touched on earlier, I didn't, let's go a little bit further. Hold on a sec. Conservation Commission has moved on to Walter that the suggestion be for $15,000 this coming budget season. And when we originally, a few meetings ago, we discussed ideas for budget, and one of the big one was the survey work. And every indication we have right now is that Walter seems to think he might have money in this budget year to take care of that. So when that kind of got bumped off the top of the list, I was asked to generate some more information. I have a few copies of the email. I didn't know if everyone wanted one. I can email it out to everybody. But when Andy asked me to send some data around, basically I'll send this one over as well. Did I, oops.
She doesn't have one.
She
We were
doesn't,
sharing.
right. So, should be the one that goes from me to Andy and Walter and Bob. Bob's already seen this. So basically what I did is I went back to our list that we generated a few meetings ago and kind of said, okay, what was the next things we had on the list? And basically, the next thing down was the other access parking lot off of Natticook Road, the PSNH parking lot. So I put number 1 on the list is that there's going to be engineering costs, consulting costs, and legal costs with trying to do that because it's not our property. So I kind of bumped that up in figuring it was the next thing on. What we had discussed in our list previous was the gates. Was a gate on Old Kings Highway at the PSNH easement. I've changed it slightly. I'm kind of thinking that maybe we should be looking at gating to help the Heritage Commission project, since they're going to be working on closing down access, that we gate the
Absolutely.
ends.
That's always been the right
Right.
place for the gate, and we just couldn't do it because it was a Class 6 road.
Right. So once, if we can get the designation changed to a Class A trail and get the gate put up, we can do really well with that. A Class A trail doesn't prevent abutters from using it with motorized access, but the way we're going to place the gates and do the designation, the only abutter is going to be us. So that in the PSNH easement. So we won't have multiple neighbors to deal with and all that. We want to run the gates and the designation a little bit, not at the end of Girard, but kind of down towards where our property line is, and then run it all the way up to the Wattonic Women's Club. So they technically really wouldn't be in a butter because it would be across our property. We own both sides of it all the way except for the easement slice. So that's why I put gates as the next thing down. I kind of shifted the emphasis from where it was before to the 2 gates. Number 3 was the ArcView software license. I know Walter had tried, and I don't know if he did or not, but when we discussed this current year's budget, when we were the ad hoc committee, he was hoping to purchase a second license so he could use it for training and all that, and I don't know if he did, but if he didn't, I still think that's an important thing to use, especially given the fact that the town has gone ahead and done all the aerial photography and they're really moving forward with their GPS project and all that. This is a vital piece of software that could be used by not only Horse Hill, but by the Greater Woods folks and any of the other conservation projects that are going on. We can start getting the mapping done electronically and GPSed. We can really share it with the whole world. So, and then after that, I just said the normal support that comes with printing things. When we get these maps done, we're going to want to print them and make them available, have them at the library, have them at Town Hall, have them out at the kiosk, and all that stuff. So that all incurs cost. But I really think the PSNH access point on Natticook Road is going to cost some money. I see that running, some thousands of dollars when you start including everything. So that's what I moved forward, and I think that's probably what's going to move forward with it, the recommendation all the way through. But I wanted to show you that I had done this.
Are these in order of your preference? Are they in priority order?
Yes, and mostly the order was based on what we had discussed previously. I don't think I took anything out of order. Is there something else you were thinking?
What's the software you're talking about?
It's the number 3 on the list. It's called ArcView.
It's the mapping stuff. Only because, number 1, first of all, it's going to cost money. And number 2, until we really get people out there, we don't really know what we're going to need for that parking area. Mm-hmm. It's a little hard to justify that for me, especially where it's going to be the priciest item on the list. But
my thought was
I'll just let it go with that.
When you read across number 1, it says to be able to get or rule out, and that's really what I want to find out. I'd like to know this coming fiscal year, which is the 07-08 fiscal year, so it starts midsummer. Is this parking lot never going to happen?
Okay, so a feasibility study.
Right, because if it's not going to happen,
I see.
Then we've got to look somewhere else.
Right.
Because I know we need another access point, and we need something on the east side. So.
Okay, so more of a feasibility study than actually getting it built.
I don't think this actually builds it. I think this gets us enough money to know we can do it, get the permissions done.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Is that different from this?
I think
it does look different from that.
You
What
might
is
have
this?
a backup email. Is that a different one? Because I lost one.
Yeah, because see, this one, that
Yeah.
one didn't
Yeah, that
have
one
the
doesn't
arc
belong
view
here.
and all that stuff on it.
Right.
That's why.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I can pass this along. If anyone would like an electronic copy, just say so. and
Could
I'll
I have
forward
one
it.
just for the
I'll
minutes
just
then?
Send
Send
me
it out?
one.
I'll just send it out.
Yes.
Okay, I'll forward it out.
Could I keep this one?
Sure.
Since I can't.
Does anyone want a hard copy now?
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Do
Okay.
you want it?
No, well, I need one for the minutes, so.
It's just the bottom
Yeah,
line.
it's the bottom. Okay, thank you. I was wondering, that's all.
Oh, you got my update on Old Kings Highway, didn't you?
Yeah. That's why I'm going,
I was looking where that was earlier.
it's like, okay,
I
this
got it out
doesn't
of
make
order
sense.
in my paperwork stack, so. All right. That's really all I have on the budget item. Beyond that, I haven't formed the committee yet. Andy's been feeding me grant ideas and stuff like that, but the latest one kind of expires in early January. There's not enough time for me to get an updated together. Unfortunately, the town council didn't go forward with the school's request either, so I hope they take another stab at it.
Andy sent them a letter, see if they'll take it all look at it.
So, that's really all I have for that agenda item. Next is minutes. Did everyone get a copy of the minutes? Did they go out? Did Denise
Denise
send
said she was sending them out last week.
minutes out?
Yes.
She dropped it off at my house.
Okay, did you get an electronic copy? Bob, did you get a copy of the minutes?
I don't see any here, I don't
'Cause
think so.
I was going through my email chain and I didn't, you got a copy. Not everyone did. Did you get
I
a copy?
don't remember getting a copy. I mean, I could have. It's been so hectic and crazy. I
Well,
can't.
if you don't mind then why don't we table the minutes to next meeting,
Yeah,
okay?
we'll table 'em.
All right.
So I did have a conversation with Scott. He is looking to move our minutes to be somewhere off the Conservation Commission page.
Repeat that?
Excuse me. I spoke with Scott McPhee down in Community Development, and the minutes for our current subcommittee are going to exist on the website off of the Conservation Commission page. The old ad hoc committee page is kind of going to go away into whatever.
Oblivion.
Oblivion, yes. It's already put down, it's already in a little area that's called past committees, so we're now in the past.
We're in the past.
So, and if anyone's curious, the website, hhnp.org, I've kind of been working on an update a little bit. I put a little note out on the page, so if you go there, it says, hey, we're no longer the ad hoc committee, we're now something else, and keep checking back. Because I'd like to that website was really geared towards the ad hoc committee and the activities of the ad hoc committee. And I'd like to redo the hhnp.org website to be more about Horse Hill and less about town and committees and all that. It really should be about Horse Hill. What is it? How to get out there. If we get a group of geocachers that want to do things, I'd like them to have content. If the trail bike guys want to have some content and some links, let's let them do it. I like to make that website to be a real Horse Hill website, not politics, or not the aftermarket of politics or whatever else. There'll be a little square in the bottom that says, oh yeah, here's the committee, That's where I want to go with it. If anyone likes to play with websites, let me know. All right, since minutes are done, comments? I want to talk quickly then under comments about February's meeting falls on Martin Luther King Day. Is that February?
January meeting?
That's January. So, okay, so February's is President's Day. And the town hall is closed on February the 19th, and that's our scheduled date for a meeting. So do we want to skip on the February meeting? Do we want to change the date on the February meeting?
Can we move it back forward a week
If we
to the
do,
third week?
we won't allow Bob to come because he's at a normal meeting of the Conservation Commission.
It's all right, I don't have to be here.
Well, we're going to be doing a lot on the trails
Yeah,
all during the winter.
right. Is February needed?
Do we really need to have a February meeting if we're out there doing the trail work?
Right. Pick it up again in March. Look forward for spring activity.
So that'll change then, it'll be March then till we get into the other
Let's-
other rules and all? Okay.
Whatever.
Is that okay?
I'm amendable. If I'm not, Deb will come over and beat me up, so.
And
No.
what about January?
I've calmed down.
Right.
I apologize.
Right, so we do have a January meeting that we can still do. That'll,
That's not Martin Luther King.
no, yeah, it is a holiday, but the town hall is open. So we can do the January
Okay.
meeting.
So February's canceled then.
Right.
Okay, what's the date of the January meeting then?
Third Monday.
Yes. And you know something?
I didn't bring my calendar.
Sitting on my desk was my.
That's all right. Well,
That's all right,
it's
we'll
third,
figure it
it's
out.
third
Seven-
Monday.
Okay.
Seven,
Monday.
that
Seventh?
would be the 21st,
The 7th
is the first Monday.
is a Sunday, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, 7th, 8th is the first.
8th is the first.
Well, no, the first
No,
one is the first.
First.
The 8th, the 15th would be the third.
Right.
Yeah.
15th. Okay. Do we want to do the rules discussion in March, or do we want to do it in a few weeks?
What else is on the agenda for the 15th?
It'd be mostly, we're going to be getting right into doing that major
Trail.
trail work.
Yeah,
I'd like to,
I would say table it till March, the rules, and let's
Then
work
we-
on this, on trail stuff from now until,
And the
The-
map,
and the
perfect it.
map,
Maybe
right.
there'll be a cut of the map to
Right.
go
I'd
over.
like to have a cut of the map,
right.
That'll give us time to collect.
collect data, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yep.
The
All right.
third
Yep.
Monday in March is the 19th.
The 19th, okay.
Fine, the 19th?
No, February, all right. Okay, besides that, we do have the trail walk coming up on January 7th. If we got snow, then bring your snowshoes,
That's what I told everybody.
right?
Did we say 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock.
And that's pretty much what I have for Christmas, for comments, except for Merry Christmas. Hanukkah, all, and not to leave anyone else out, you know? So, have a good holiday, so,
And you too.
and I'm ready.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All those in favor? Aye. Great. 9:17, thank you.